Hello friends, David here, composer and lyricist. On this beautiful gray spring morning, I wanted to thank my newest benefactor, Derek. Derek is an educator, and he signed up last month, and he heard this month's release, one of many, and he perceived some ideas that resonated with some of the thinking that he'd been doing lately on the topic of consciousness. And I'll be darned if he couldn't help but make a comment to that effect, specifically mentioning the concept of bicameralism. Now, that is exactly the sort of vocab word that I like, so I rushed to Wikipedia to check his work and to bone up a little myself. And as many of you know, in the 19th century, advances in neuroscience made possible reimaginings of the origins and processes and substance of thought. We went from knowing that thoughts happened in the brain to knowing that certain types of thought happened in certain parts of the brain. We split the brain into two hemispheres, layered it into lobes. We understood that different aspects of cognition and behavior are localized physically. Lines started to blur between psychology, physiology, spirituality, language. Of course, nowadays we can make bionic arms that are controlled by the brain and stuff. But at one point, in the mid-70s, Dr. Julian Jaynes puts out a book titled The Origin of Consciousness in the Breakdown of the Bicameral Mind. The synopsis basically being that what we then understood to be psychological interactions between different parts of the psyche were previously understood to be spiritual, religious, mythological experiences whereby the thoughts were visited upon the thinker by outside supernatural forces. I'd encourage you to dig deeper. My explanation is purely superficial. There's a ton of archaeology involved. Anyway, very much in line with elements of the lyric in which I explicitly describe some of this bicameral thinking and further elaborate on the transient experiences of consciousness. Please do check out the tune if you have not already. Free to stream and download for all patrons, and second tier gets lyrics and lead sheet. And stay tuned next month for another super nerdy prog rock tribal folk theater kind of tune titled Light of Life. So thank you, Derek, for the support and the lively intellectual exchange, and thank you everyone for listening.